I was given an early look at Tales of Seikyu from Fireshine Games, where you play as one of the last remaining members of the Fox clan. You and your sister Con have traveled to Seikyu at the behest of a note left by your family to try and find out what happened. I've spent roughly 27 hours in the game, and so far I'm really liking the look of it. Naturally, I'm a bit biased because I love foxes, but I'm not a fan of the lack of fox ears. I'm sure we can work that out between us. There's a ton of things that you can do in the game, from farming, fighting, ruin diving, foraging, fishing, petting every single cat and dog that you can possibly find, romancing, and finally, digging through the rubbish bins, because you're not a fox if you're not dumpster diving. There's also festivals that can happen, and eventually, an in-game casino, which I didn't unlock yet, but oh boy would I do. Starting the game, we're given a simple choice. Which character represents us best? It's kind of bare bones right now, but according to the developers, they're going to add more customization for your character, including hairstyles, color, skin tone, and hopefully that includes fox ears and other fox-related fun stuff too. The intro was pretty much what I expected, just like most games that feature the protagonist acquiring a farm in a place that they've never been to before. You begin by traveling to the village on a boat with a view. The intro cutscene shows off a lot of the yokai available for you to meet in Seikyu. Getting into the meat of it, the village of Seikyu is pretty alive and bustling. You've got your usual general merchant shop run by Musashi, where you can buy seeds, bag expansions, and more, if you can find him open, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't open when it rains. And it rains like 90% of the time in this game. Just a little down the street, and you have Miss Amma's tailor shop, where you can buy new outfits, because glam is always the end game. And right next door, there's a furniture store ran by Sasaki. Eventually, after a bit of side questing, you can also unlock a casino. Shopping aside, there are also a whole host of quirky, adorable, and Nyotengu characters to interact with. Sometimes these characters are going to have adventures for you to go on, like joining a gym or going mining, and you can eventually romance some of these characters. And the developers plan to add marriage into the game too, so I can finally live my best life with Nyotengu. Finally, there are the Fox Ruins that you can delve into and fight and mine and fly your way to progress, as well as the Inari Temple where you can give various offerings. The story of the game, in as little spoilers as possible, is honestly adorable. You are the last two foxes from the Fox clan, and you've come from wherever it is that you were to Seikyu at the behest of a note left by your parents. Following the guidance of your eccentric ancestors, you learn to transform into various forms, although not your fox form yet. And you and Kon begin the journey to seek out answers in the Fox Ruins, colliding with Tanuki on the way and searching for various notes inside various foxholes that Kon can have a poke through. The map, overall, is huge. We can see that there's a ton of planned areas that eventually you'll be able to explore to the fullest. The downside of a huge map, though, is that it's really difficult to meaningfully fill. The world is expansive, but it lacks depth when it comes to what you can find. Like, yeah, there's some treasure chests and a bunch of raw materials scattered here and there, and there's a couple of mobs scattered around, and a particularly aggressive field boss. But overall, the overworld map just feels like a bore to explore, which is a shame because it's really pretty. Now, the main pull that the game features is your ability to change into different yokai thanks to your Fox clan heritage. I found that early on, you can't actually change into your fox form, but you are able to change into a boar. Not really sure how I feel about that. Later on, during excursions into the Fox Ruins, it nets you some transformation scrolls for the slime and the Tengu form. Looking at the forms menu, you're able to transform into at least one more, but I didn't get that far yet. Oops. Each form has different abilities. The boar is fast and tanky, and you can use its ability to stomp the ground that you own so you can plant crops. The slime form lets you shoot from a distance, swim through water, and you can water your crops. The Tengu is defensive with a good block, and it lets you soar the skies for a bit. The combat overall is finicky and difficult to manage. You can lock on, you can dodge, you can use your swords to attack, but it all feels really clunky and hard to manage. So much so that, spoiler alert, during the fight against the Tanuki Fujiki, I somehow managed to bug out the boss to defeat him really easily, rather than getting hit by something I couldn't escape from. Another aspect of the game, and one of the main ways that you gain forms, are by exploring the Fox Ruins. A long winding set of rooms, each potentially more dangerous than the last, with enemies to defeat, resources to collect, and eventually even boss fights to prove your mettle against the Tanuki getting in your way. From my time playing before release, it seems that these are all set in stone and they're not randomly generated, which is a shame, but I get it. Moving towards the more homely aspects, our home is customizable. You can turn it into the studio room of your dreams. There are also house upgrades available, as well as farm upgrades from the furniture store. You can really bring your space to life with all kinds of cool furniture, from beds, storage chests, bookcases, mirrors, folding screens, and way more. Despite the game being a wonderful playing experience, I do have a few gripes with it. The tutorials details feel lacking, and while I don't necessarily enjoy my hand being held, I do feel as though some more help at the start of the game, or even a section on the pause menu, would do wonders to alleviate early game confusion. Although the boar and the slime forms are relatively self-explanatory, I had no idea how to fly properly with the Tengu form, and it took me until writing this actual sentence that the weapon shop was locked between either completing side quests or going back into the fox runes that I had already completed or reaching a specific day. I have no idea. It also took me until roughly day 16 before I realized that you could upgrade each individual form using gold and the currency acquired from the fox ruins. There's sections in the statistics menu for your levels in things like cooking, exploration, and combat, but I'm a little unsure if those actually change anything or if it's just a fun thing to track how often you do something. The minimap not being customizable to show markers or villager locations definitely feels like an oversight. You're also unable to use crafting materials stored in your chest, and I've already spoken about the combat feeling clunky and difficult to use. The NPCs also lack depth outside of cutscenes, mostly repeating the same lines regardless of what's happened in the story or in their own quests. Certain characters can give you huge, life-changing news one day, and then the next day, they're back to talking about their day-to-day routine. I think it would be pretty great if there was an option to talk to villagers and, based on the story and the character progress, have them cycle through different various lines each day. But so far, they just lack depth, and they're not particularly interesting to talk to outside of their side quests. Overall, I'd give the game a 7 out of 10. The score's brought down by the janky combat mechanics and a lack of a meaningful world as a whole, as well as a confusing, or rather lacking, tutorial system. But I really do enjoy the game, and I absolutely plan to keep playing it, whether on stream or otherwise. The art style is beautiful, and I really like the aesthetic, although I'm a little bit biased, I like foxes. The yokai transformation system is pretty unique, and I like the home customization, and I'm excited to check out all the new fashion choices and furniture when the game fully comes out. If you're catching the video early, hey, good for you, buddy! I got some codes for a cute purple summer outfit that will definitely catch your favorite yokai's eye. Go find the missing letter and put it in the redemption reward section on the pause menu. Otherwise, don't forget to like, make sure you're subscribed, and you can catch me on Twitch. Maybe I'm live right now. Bye bye!